Community investment and involvement. We invest substantial sums in schemes that bring practical benefit to those communities where the impact of airport operations is greatest and where our support can have the most benefit. Sound Insulation Scheme.
The Sound Insulation Scheme was actually launched over 30 years ago. To date, we've actually insulated over 7,600 properties against aircraft noise in the local community. In 2003, we actually looked to the future of the scheme to see how we could improve on the scheme and the product that we provide for local residents. Basically, what we do now, we go back into properties to see how we can improve now. It's basically taking out the secondary glazing and replacing it with high specification double glazing. This year, we've invested over £200,000 insulating 23 privately owned properties and 59 Birmingham City Council owned properties. Since the launch of the scheme in 2003, we've actually insulated 488 properties with a total investment of over £1 million. Local residents have been very happy with the product that we've actually installed. They're happy with the product and also the quality of the work, and have found that a big improvement. So that's a good positive thing for our local community.
Vortex Protection Scheme. The Vortex Protection Scheme tackles the issue of damage to the roofs of properties close to the airport caused by aircraft wake vortices. These circulating currents of air are caused by the passage of aircraft, and under certain conditions they have the potential to lift roof tiles. It should be stressed, however, that not all reports of damaged roofs prove to be the result of aircraft activity. This year, we've re-roofed 40 properties that have been the subject of a confirmed vortex strike in the past, at a cost of almost £149,000. This brings the number of properties re-roofed since the scheme began to 250, with a total investment of over £950,000. Schools Environment Improvement Scheme. The Schools Environment Improvement Scheme was commended in the government's 2003 Aviation White Paper as an example of good practice. Each year, the airport company makes £50,000 available for replacing windows, providing temporary classrooms, and insulating sensitive areas such as IT suites and school halls. This year's spending brings the total invested under the scheme to £800,000. Community Trust Fund.
The Community Trust Fund began operating in 1998, and since then it's made awards of more than £880,000. It has become an important source of local funding, making awards of up to £3,000 available to small, community-based organisations in those areas which are worst affected by our operations. It receives its funding from the airport company. We make £50,000 available each year, and this is topped up by any fines from night noise violations. Trustees, however, are independent, and they use their local skills, their local knowledge, their local expertise to make sure that the awards that they do make go to those organisations where it's going to have the greatest impact. This year they made awards of £67,000 to 36 local organisations. One of these was Hatchford Brook Junior Infant School in Elmdon, and they received an award of £3,000 towards play equipment for a playground refurbishment scheme. Meanwhile, the Family Care Trust at Newlands Bishop Farm, Catherine de Barnes, they received £2,000 and they purchased equipment for a scheme to rear chickens. And this is part of a scheme that they have to care for adults with learning difficulties and mental health problems.
Education support. This year, more than 180 groups from schools and colleges visited us as part of our standard visits programme, giving more than 4,400 students an experience of the airport environment. In addition, more than 400 students from around 20 schools and colleges visited the airport for a more in-depth look at our operations. The number of groups choosing to visit the airport in support vocational courses is rising, and with the introduction of new diploma courses, we expect this trend to continue.
The students and pupils of Small Heath School have not only been welcoming 500 really important guests to the official opening today, but they've also been catering as part of the hospitality arrangements for this official opening, and we're delighted with that.
We were also delighted to support teenagers from Newent Community School in Gloucestershire, who, as part of their citizenship curriculum, chose to investigate the impact of human trafficking. We were so impressed by their commitment that we agreed to display their work around the terminals. Meanwhile, pupils at Gossey Lane Junior and Infant School in Kitts Green put their creative writing skills to the test. We chose a winning entry from the many we received, and the pupil involved was presented with a family ticket to Kaunas, together with money towards the cost of accommodation so they could experience the real thing for themselves. Community support.
It is important that we take an active part in local community events, and so this year we've again sponsored Fun in the Park, which is the major free event at the Solihull Festival. And we also took a stand at the Sheldon Country Fair at the other end of the runway. Both events attracted thousands of people, and many of them did come along to the airport stand where they're able to take part in free competitions, chat to us about the latest developments, or just go through any airport issues that they had with us. As well as major events of this sort, it's also important that we can help individuals and organisations with their own fundraising. This year, fundraisers from 80 organisations approached us, and they received an airport goodie bag which they were able to use for tombolas or raffle prizes.
Nominated charity. We decided to adopt a nominated charity to be the focus of our fundraising activities. The charity we chose was Acorns Children's Hospice, which cares for life-limited children and their families across the Midlands region. We got our new partnership off to a flying start with a sponsored abseil down the side of our office building, Diamond House, led by CEO Paul Kehoe and Acorns CEO David Strudley. They were followed by nearly 50 members of staff who made the 110-foot descent from the roof of the building, raising £8,000 in the process. Although it's early days, we're sure that the partnership between the airport company and Acorns will be positive and beneficial for everyone who gets involved.